Hey folks, Frank Zarilla here, 8/25/2025. August 24th, Sunday, August 24th, 2025, right? I have here my weekly watch list, right? Got a bunch of names, I think a total of 22 names after taking some names out. A lot of names, right? So once I have this list, what I want to do is kind of like narrow down the list to a few names. There's just too many names. And I can allow the market to narrow down the list for me by only getting me involved on the ones that actually trigger, right? That's one way to do it. And I can also narrow down the list. You can do it based on your beliefs, right? Some certain people believe that only stocks that make money actually go up. Certain people believe that stocks need to be above $15 a share and a whole bunch of these other things, right? What I want to do is not only allow the market to narrow down the list for me, which by the way, I already put alerts on all of them, even the ones that I know that I'm not going to take, even the ones that I already erased from this list. I still put alerts on all of them, just in case, right? So here I have this list, and what I want to narrow down the list as well by number one. Are there any stocks that are currently under themes that are working right now? What are the themes that are working right now? Stocks that are moving well? The quantum names, right? That's number one. Number two, drones. Number three, some defense like flying cars, like Joby. What else is working well? Treasury stocks. They're buying Solana, they're buying Ether, and things of that nature. So I also want to narrow down the list and try to just get involved in the stocks that are somewhat involved in the theme. Number three, some of these, I know that I'm not going to buy them because the buy stops are too far away. So the weekly charts look phenomenal, but the buy stops are too far away. But if they are under some type of theme, I can look at the daily charts and see if I see an entry there. And there are a few that are like that. For example, CRNC, I like this stock, right? This was a stock that was owned by one single institution that they normally concentrate on a few stocks, and this one particular stock, they got involved and then they had to sell, and it took them forever to sell, and it looks like they're finally done selling. But either way, this stock I bought on Friday. It was on the list, or I put it as a buy stop, as a trade on Friday. So I already owned the stock at 10.95. Here in the weekly chart, it looks okay. Buy a high here is 11.77. The buy stop is going to be above. So the chances of me getting involved in this one, probably not. It is AI next generation in-car experience. They're kind of like in rivalry with SOUN, which I already own as well on the daily chart. And they also have some type of collaboration with NVIDIA, and that's all you need to know, right? Here, right, so the buy stop is going to be 11.80, and then the sell stop will be right over here at $10 a share. That's really far away, right? That's like 18%. Now, if I go on to you can also go on to the daily chart and say, okay, I'm going to put my stop at, well, I will still put it at maybe 10.35, right? But either way, let's just move on. BTCM, this thing's been trading sideways for 3 years. They announced back in July that they plan to invest $200 to $300 million in Solana. These treasuries are doing well. You got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now Solana's picking up. Solana's like the third one on the list. So they're looking to do that. They're also looking to convert one of their, new data center into Solana as well. But either way, 3 years of sideways action. The buy stop here, printed an inside day. Buy stop here is 326. This white line here, dotted line, is a 10-week moving average. You can put your stop here at 275, 270 on the closing basis. That'll be this coming Friday, right? But this has been trading sideways. Again, this more of a theme stock because of the mining. RGTI, here's one that I'm long already from 822, which is Friday at 1488. This one looks phenomenal, right? All these purple candles are weeks that this stock was up either 4% or more on 3 times the volume, as you can see here. 3 times the 20-week moving average volume, right? So now it made this move, and from December of 2024, it's been trading sideways roughly. That's about almost 8 months. And as you can see here, how the volatility has been compressing. The only issue with the stock is that it closed at 1482, and the buy stop is roughly 15% away. That's way too far, right? I would rather go and this is also a 18% short. It's one of these drone stocks, quantum computing stocks. And if you look at the daily chart, you can find an entry. I found an entry, right? Stock was down multiple days in a row, printed an inside day. I found an entry through this high, right? So again, this one, the chances of me buying this one are probably slim. On the weekly chart, maybe next week, just because the buy stop is too far away, right? So right now, all we have is one, which is the BTCM. Blade, BLDE, trading sideways for 2.6 years. Just recently, Third Point Partners, the hedge fund, bought 5 million shares. Just recently, Joby, Joby, acquired their passenger division, the passenger division for their flying planes for roughly $125 million. What they want to do is they want to be the first ones with their first electric passenger flights in the US. Okay, so this one, 443 is the high, close right there. Buy stop 445. Your stop has to be somewhere here in the 390 level. So this one is okay, right? Let's see what we have here. ASPI is another stock that I bought this on 821. It's a quantum enrichment technology play. Bill Gates is a stock that's run by Bill Gates, kind of like a nuclear stock, right? So as you can see here, very similar, had a big run at the end of last year. It's been trading sideways since. Now here you start to see sloppy, but here look at the compression. Look how tight these closes are, right? So here buy stop is 947, buy stop 950, stop you can call it 830, right? This low right over here, right? So that's, now we have ASPI, Blade, and BTCM. All these stocks printed a purple candle sometimes in the last 8 weeks. So far, all three stocks, Blade, ASPI, and BTCM, are under some type of theme. Baidu, BIDU, Chinese stock. Again, this is another AI stock. The Chinese market is doing a little bit better. It's firming up. I did a trade recently on BABA that worked out pretty well, and there was another Chinese stock, I think it was PDD, that worked out pretty well. If you look at FUTU, you look at NIO, they have performed really well over the last couple of weeks. So Chinese stocks might be back on the move. This stock right over here printed an inside day. As you can see, has been trading sideways right over here. It's been down, straight down the straight line. But over the last, roughly call it 1 year, you can see here how the buyers and sellers have found some type of equilibrium. So this stock printed an inside day, 91.27, buy stop 91.30, low is right over here at roughly $84 a share. So we have Baidu. Now we have UMAC. UMAC is another, it's a drone stock. They sell drone components. I'm long this stock, bought it on 821 at 1026. Needham just put a $15 price target on the stock, 15% short. Again, another stock that's a theme stock, right? It's a US-based drone company. Donald Trump Jr. sits on the advisory board. The weekly looks awesome, very similar to all the other ones, all the quantum names. All these stocks did really well at the end of last year, and since then, they've been trading sideways. And now, very simply, you can see how they're getting tight. This stock, buy stop 11.39, right? Buy stop 11.42, right? 3 or 4 cents above. And then the sell stop, this is where it gets tricky, right? Because look, this stock, 8.95 is really far away, But this stock can easily go to 20, right? So then if it easily can go to 20, then that risk reward is okay. But the 10-week moving average is trading at 987. So I think 980 would be your stop, right? As long as it stays above the 10-week moving average, we are good to go, right? My original stop here that I wrote down was 890, but that's way too far, way too far. You want these stocks that once you put your buy stop in and they trigger, you want these stocks to move immediately. So let's call that buy stop, that sell stop, 980. DPRO is another drone stock, right? Trading sideways for a while, call it roughly 1 year of sideways action. Big up move here, big up move here. You can see the volume, the sell off, very light volume. Came all the way back down to the 20-week moving average, which is this yellow line. Buy stop 4, call it 457, 460. Another stock that's a theme play. It's a drone stock. On 7/16, that was selected by the U.S. Department of Defense for advanced ISR missions, right? So it's another drone stock. So I like this one, DPRO. INOT, data labeling, data engineering. IT prepares data for to train AI. So this basically trains artificial intelligence. It looks okay, down multiple weeks in a row. Again, all these stocks that had to do with AI had a big move at the end of last year, and since then they've been consolidating for the entire year. Okay, so buy stop on this one is 40.30. Sell stop is $36 a share. ABAT, it's a power company, battery company. This is the VWAP from the IPO. It hasn't been able to get above that VWAP since it came public back in 2023. You can see here how it tried here, came right back down. Finally here, it broke that IPO VWAP, and then it went up 100%, and then pulled back. And this VWAP that's been resistance for the entire move has now turned into support. Okay, so I like the stock. Buy stop 280, sell stop, you got to give it a 215. Okay, this is a battery play, so it's going to be somewhat under the theme that we're looking at with the quantum, the AI, the data centers, and all those things. BTCS is another treasury play. It's another treasury play. But here you can see how big move right over here, June, July, retraced, right? And now it printed an inside day, had a decent move on Friday off of this inside, or had a decent move on Friday on the daily chart off of this inside day move, right? Recently there was a big seller of the November 750 puts, 1,500. So someone on August 11th sold in the money puts 1,500 at 750. That's pretty big because the stock was way below 750. So that's a confidence put seller who doesn't mind buying this, owning the stock. So I like the stock going through 490. Call it buy stop 492, stop 410. BTCS is another stock, again, theme, treasury stock. RCAT, again, another stock, also a theme play, military drones. They announced a partnership back on December 16th of last year. Again, just like all the other ones, had a big run at the end of the year, trading sideways. They announced a partnership with Palantir to enhance military drones. I like the stock. Look at this, right? Big move at the end of last year, just like the quantum names and all the other ones, trading sideways for the entire year so far. Buy stop 1006 and sell stop, call it 820, right? So I already know in my mind, I already highlighted these things. I got stars next to some of these names. I put 2 stars next to this one. Why? It's very close to the buy stop, which I like, and also it's a theme stock. JKS, solar name, whatever. Cliff, again, turning around, looks okay, whatever. BLDP, it's another power company. It's okay. I like the volume profile. I just put it there. It's going to be on my watch list for the future. I put an alert. Looks okay. But the fact that I saw BLDP, that I saw ABAT, 2 power related companies, right? Once you start going through charts, you start seeing things. You start picking up in themes, right? So those 2 right there, interesting to me, right? They might not be quite ready yet because they were in tremendous downtrends for a long time. And then when you see this downtrend, you normally tend to see sideways action, and then you have a move. But I'm watching them. QUBTS, another quantum name, same exact thing as all the other ones. Last year, at the end of the year, big move. This one's been trading sideways from May till here. I wanted to buy the stock on Friday on the daily chart. It printed an inside day. Friday was a tough day to buy a lot of things because the Jackson Hole meeting, and then we just took off. But look, it was down multiple days in a row. Printed an inside day on very low volume. Had a nice move on the weekly chart. This is 1707. This is a little too far for me. All right, because 1554, 17. I mean, it's okay, not bad. I'll see how it looks when it triggers. I'm going to look at the daily chart to see if I can get some type of intra-week entry on the daily chart. I missed the one on Friday, but we'll see. But again, this is another, quantum name. Theme stock. They all move the same way, right? ASTS is another name. Had a big move last year. Traded sideways for a long time. Had a breakout with some news. It's retraced back to the 10 and 20 week moving average. This stock is another stock in play. This is another theme stock, space, mobile, and things of that nature. I like the stock going through 50-50, buy stop 50-55, stop $42 a share. QUBT, another quantum name, right? And some of these have single stock 2-time ETFs. I believe this one does. I believe QBTS does. I believe RGTI does. I believe RCAT does. So you can take a look at those as well if you want more bang for your money. But the same thing, big move at the end of the year, sideways action for the entire year. You can see how it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. This is another one, QUBT, that I got 2 stars. And the reason why is the buy stop is very close, 1625, right? Or that's the high, 1630 is the buy stop. Sell stop, you can do 1370, or you can do Friday's low in the daily, which is 1430, right? I wanted to do this video, before I jot down all the buy stops and sell stops. Kind of this is like the gross video before the edit, so that way you can see what I'm thinking, how I'm seeing things, and then later on I'll be able to narrow down a little bit more the buy stops and sell stops. PL is another theme stock, defense play, aerospace. They do satellite. They have backlog was up 140%. They have $226 million in cash. At the beginning of the year, they signed a multi-year deal, $230 million to expand their partnership with an Asian Pacific partner for satellites. So either way, this stock's been holding up really well. If you look at the daily charts, it's been holding up really well here, even when the market pulled back. I went long the stock at 812, and then it kind of broke down this very last day here, so I sold it. On the weekly chart, it looks fantastic. On the daily, it looks fantastic. Buy stop 703, sell stop right over here 610, right? I like this one as well. Relative strength all across the board. Tesla, as you can see here, Tesla's been trading, you can call it sideways here, for roughly 3.7 years, where there's been no net movement, right? No net movement. And then over here, you start to get a little bit tighter and tighter and tighter. You see the moving averages are hugging. The 10, 20 week and 40 week moving averages are hugging right over here. So I like the stock going through 3, 40, 55. It is right there, right? This might be hard. The market gaps up on Monday. This is going to go. On the daily chart, it was a great entry here, whatever. Inside day on the lowest volume in the last 10 days, had a big move. But on the weekly chart, if this gets going, then it can really go, right? Because it's been trading sideways for 3.7 years. So the sell stop has got to be right over here at 314, right? You want more bang for your buck. Then you look at the Granite shares, 2 times long TSL, which is TSLR. Tesla times 2. Buy stop 2072, sell stop right over here at 1760. So this is my total list right over here, right? You know what I did? I put the alerts on. I already know kind of what I want to stick with, which are the theme plays, right? Or stocks that have huge bases like Tesla. And then it's just a matter of now, I just narrowed down the list based on themes, which is what I want to be involved in those names. Now it's up to the market to narrow down the list for me further by only getting me involved in the ones that go through their last week's previous high. Okay, so if you have any questions, put them on the stream. And the way to trade these things in multiple ways, right? You can take the buy stop minus the sell stop. Whatever that number is becomes your risk, right? Let's say, for example, if it's $2, that's your risk. Your first target should be $2 above your actual risk. So what you can do is when the stock goes up $2, you can sell half of it and then raise your stop to break even, and now you got a free trade, right? So that's a way to sell it. There are multiple ways to sell things, right? That is one way to do it, right? You can do that. You can take $2 and 25% of your position. The minute you get involved, you put a $2 trailing stop that's going to move up with the price, right? You can do that. You can do multiple things. But the key here is to try to reduce risk immediately without choking the trade. So trade them well and be well.